Across the top is three 10-shot groups at 50 yards that I have in another video, but I'll touch on those at the end. But this is my setup, and I'll be starting at the bottom left target at 100 yards today with SK long range match. A real quick look at my rifle. For today at least, I'm pulling those first two shots out and marking them as cold bore shots, but I've got an extreme spread of 34 and a standard deviation of 8 for the 28 shots and a group right up 1.5 inches. So here's my three 10-shot groups at 50 yards, and you can see that my zero is almost perfect there. At 100 yards, I'm shooting quite a bit to the right, and I'm not sure why. But now I'm going to go to 75 yards, and I'm going to correct to the left 1/10. So there's a couple of shots in that group, and I don't know where they went. They just went into the black hole somewhere, but that's a good problem to have. Remember, I corrected to the left 1/10, and that zero is almost perfect. Ballistic X still shows it off by 140 thousandths, but if I move it one more click to the left, it will be too far, so that's pretty close to perfect. So my goal or requirement is to find an ammo that can hit a 1-inch square at 100 yards. This is very similar to the results that I got with Midas Plus. I have to play with my zero a little bit, but that's a 1-inch square that I drew on there, and almost all of those would be a hit. So this is 4 5-shot groups and one 10-shot group that I shot with Midas Plus at 100 yards. And here's a look at the SK rifle match. It was closer to 2-inch groups, where the Midas Plus and the SK long range were about 1.5. This is a look at some 30-shot groups with SK Rifle Match and Midas Plus. I'm to the point where I kind of just don't care about shooting at 50 yards, because with almost any of these ammos, I feel like I could hit a dime 100 times in a row, so it just doesn't really matter. It's these longer distances that becomes much more difficult. So here is a look at the first 100 shots from a clean barrel. And I've noticed before, when I start with a clean barrel, my velocities are lower. And this is the first time, though, that I took the time to document that. And I split it into every 10 shots. But you see, it takes about 30 shots for it to get up to that velocity where it stabilizes. Finally, a calm morning in Oklahoma. It was just a little bit of a breeze. These are the 25, 50, and 75-yard bin flags that we have. I know that 1.5 inches group at 100 yards is not really very impressive. But that's the best I've been able to do with these larger sample sizes. And in our competition, all I've got to do is hit 5 1-inch squares in a row, and I have yet to do it.